It is basketball season. March Madness is close. We know all about the NCAA big-time schools that are in that tournament, but at the junior college level, how does a successful athletic program affect the school?
There's a lot. I come from an athletic family, and I think the athletic program is a wonderful contribution. It provides that collegiate feel on a college campus. It gives everyone from faculty, staff to students something to rally around and stand behind. We are strong supporters of the Pirate sports. Of course, it's basketball season, so we try to make as many games as we can. And I see the students and the crowd and the community really getting behind them and participating. So I think it provides that collegiate feel. I think it gives everyone a common denominator and something to root for beyond themselves, and just a fun atmosphere. For those students, I think it provides some structure for our student athletes, definitely some support, and I think our coaches do an excellent job of setting very high expectations for them as students and as student athletes. So they realize that they are here to earn a college degree, and we're going to do everything we can collectively to help them be successful on the court or on the green or on the field, as well as off.
You know, this is anecdotal. I don't have any data about this, but it seems that when a student comes into a new situation, if he or she has a group to be a part of, that's a big part of student success. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Student engagement is for our traditional age students a number one factor in retention. If we can get students engaged in college campus, and that's events and clubs and organizations, in the first 6 to 8 weeks, we know we have a very good shot of them persisting into the second semester and then retaining them to completion. What I encourage incoming students is to join at least 2 or 3 organizations on campus. And you can always drop them if you find that they're not of interest to you, and keep 1 or 2, but get involved and reinvent yourself a little bit and see what else is out there. So that engagement can be crucial to retention.
Dr. Riley, what are some other things that make a successful transition from high school to college for a student?
I think being involved in A+, certainly what we find is one of the main factors for students persisting in school is to understand their finances and have made arrangements or understand what they need to do. A+ sets expectations for students. We help them, and being a part of that A+ program can be incredibly successful. As far as what they can do to prepare in high school, I think any kind of dual credit, dual enrollment, any advanced math classes they can take, and specifically math. The studies show that a student who's taken less than 3 years of math in high school, and we're talking nationally here, 8% of those students will be successful.
Really?
If they take 4 years or more, that jumps from 51 to 61% chance of being successful. So a huge jump.
Significant.
Right, so high school seniors, if you're thinking about sloughing off, take those rigorous classes, and certainly take math class. So that's something that's, I think, pretty important.
Right. We've talked about the A+ program, and you mentioned it a moment ago, and it seems shocking to me that more people aren't aware of it in the state of Missouri, how they can get their college at North Central, for instance, paid for, basically.
Right. And I think we can do a better job of promoting that. You know, I think there's some great benefits, and kudos to the state of Missouri and our legislators for supporting that program. It is so important. And I think, you know, at the high school level, setting those minimum expectations, knowing that those students have a GPA requirement and an attendance requirement and good citizenship requirement, I think that helps their high school experience. But when they go to college, you know, to have that tuition, not have to worry about that, we know that, you know, we don't know what Pell's going to do, but we know A+ will be there. So if those students can become qualified, A+ is really their opportunity for a ticket to college for 2 years. And it's not merit-based, and it's not need-based, so anybody can qualify for A+ if they're willing to put in the time and effort. So it does need to be promoted better, and we're trying to do our part of it. We're looking at different regions of the counties that we serve, and how we can make sure that we're touching all of those counties and
Right.
all of those school districts to make sure parents and students truly understand the benefit and the value of A+.
And I assume that anybody can call you and ask you questions if they have specific questions about the program.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have several staff members who are well versed, and we follow what's going on in Jefferson City. We have an A+ meeting actually next week to talk with A+ coordinators in high schools, and we do what we can do to convey that information proactively, but we're happy to answer questions reactively
Right.
as well.
Right. We all love the stories about students that are successful and have a great GPA and do different things activities-wise, but a lot of students, especially the first year, tend to struggle a little bit. What's your advice for a student that is afraid they may struggle that first year in college or even the second year?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Some of the best students, the students that are coming to us as valedictorians and salutatorians, will tend to struggle their first year, and the reason is those students may not have had to study while they were in high school. So they get here and they expect it to come easy like it might have in high school,
Right.
and they realize it's a whole different ballgame. How we study, how we take notes, expectations, getting yourself up and going to class, and all of that. So don't be afraid to ask for help. We are all here, from our custodial staff to our faculty to our president to everyone is employed here to help students be successful. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I also think doing some self-examination, getting up and going to class when it's cold or you have a headache or things aren't going well, I think those are things that you can do. What I tell students is when I was in college, the big thing when I went to school was they had bracelets and it would say WWJD. What
Right.
would Jesus do?
Right.
And I always tell them you need to get a bracelet and say, what would Kristen do? What would your best self do? So when you're laying in bed and you feel like, hi, I think I want to skip class and take a nap, what would
Yeah.
my best self do? And that will never fail you.
Yeah.
Would my best self go to class, or would my best self study for that test, or what would my best self
Right.
do? So asking yourself that question. Go to class, go to class, go to class.
Yes.
There's a reason we have class. And on-ground classes are so important. That attendance is so important. Our faculty are wonderful, and they schedule those classes because there's a reason for it. They share subject matter, and not only are they sharing that subject matter, but the dialogue that happens in class with other students, peers, and the faculty member. You can only be we've moved away from that sage on the stage concept to that guide on the side. And you
like
can't
it.
be a guide if you don't have students there to interact with and have a conversation with. So that's why it's important you're absorbing more than just what you're reading in a book. You're learning from others as well. So definitely go to class. And our faculty are top notch, and they will do whatever they can and bend over backwards to assist a student. And I've seen faculty come in at night and offer their personal cell phone numbers and whatever they need to help a student be successful, because we're not in it because simply for the paycheck. That's part of a job, but we have chosen education as a career because we believe in what we're doing.
Hey, this has been a wonderful talk. Thank you for all the information.
Thank you for asking.
And we'll be back with more from Jefferson City in just a second.